What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
How you doing, man? It's hot.
Number 40. I see it's hot. Look at you. I don't know if you're. I don't know about you, but I'm in long sleeves. You're over there in a tank top.
Man, I'm sweating. It's hot over here, dude. North Carolina is smoking. I'm not even gonna talk about how Florida must be right now.
No, I only visit there in the winter times when it's about 30 below here is when it's time to go to Florida.
Snowbirds.
Right. That's right.
Guys, you're watching The Crucible. My name's Emil.
I am Paul. What's happening?
And we have episode 40 today. That's kind of awesome.
40, dude. 40
episode
straight weeks.
52. We're gonna be giving away this bad boy 5-ounce silver round right here, or a silver poured round. We're gonna be stamping the backside of that with my logo and Pauly's logo. Make sure you get entered to that. 3 ways to win. You'll find them in the description below.
Makes that official with the stamps.
Official, guys.
Makes that official with the stamps.
But we got a drum roll today. We got a good friend of ours back on the show. Let's go ahead.
That's what you were practicing before we got on. I thought I heard a little tapping. Sean, what's happening, buddy?
What's up, Pauly? Hey, Emil.
Not a hell of a lot.
What's happening, brother? How you been, man?
Emil, I have to remember Emil. I used to call you Emil, like email, but
yeah,
I always do.
So just think of you ever seen the Mighty Ducks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember they were like Emilio Estevez, Emilio. Yeah. So it's like Emilio, but without the IO. It's just Emil.
That'll help me remember. Yes.
Yeah, man. Mighty Ducks.
I sent him a text message today, and I typed out the word email, and I said, "Did I just spell his name?"
Right on. Sean, it's great to have you back, man.
Great to be here, guys.
We gotta get you a punch card. Like
seriously.
Once you get to 5, something happens. I don't know what, but we'll make something up.
3, right?
This is 3.
This is 3, man. Yeah, you're the most commonly brought on guest. You're a resource, man. You're a great wealth of knowledge.
Yes.
Reason we wanted you on today. So we had Heidi last week, a couple weeks back. Last week we had AG Stacking, and prior to that we had a few poor artists and things like that. And it's kind of discussing the topic of creation of your own pieces, your own items. And then bringing Heidi on, it was really great because we got to talk about the engraving process, the original designs, concepts, right? So what I really, what Pauly and I really wanted to discuss with you was taking a concept and bringing it all the way to production and distribution. And I know you've helped people, or you yourself have been in the process of taking your designs and putting them out into production and distribution. Talk to us a little bit about that. What's that like?
So the first thing is obviously you have to have a design, and right now getting the artist is the first point of starting that work. And you can find artists all over the place now on Facebook, on Instagram, on Google, and that kind of thing. So once you acquire the artist to make your work, a lot of people are also incorporating AI artwork into their, but that is a little bit on the riskier side because you never know if it's a unique piece of artwork that you're getting made. But that is kind of the new concept, to get either AI artwork done or to do find somebody that is just freelancing art and pay them for it. And so, we're working on a few custom projects right now, and one of them entails actually making a coin itself and getting it issued by a government mint. And that's really the tough part, is getting the issuing authority to issue the coin and to get the design approved. And, first you have to decide, do you want to make a legal tender coin, or do you want to make just a bar around without any issuing authority, without any monetization, without any face value? And so it's always easier to make a bar around or a metal and not have any face value on it, because then you don't have to get the government mints involved in that process. But luckily, we personally don't have to deal with all the negotiating with the mints itself to get that done. There's usually a liaison or someone that works at each mint or each issuing authority that talks to the countries themselves and gets that trick done to get all that.
Okay.
And so the one we're working on right now, I can't talk about it all, but it is going to have some gangster themes with it. And with that concept, there's going to obviously be, a lot of problems with some of the countries to get that made. You have a gangster holding a gun or whatever, and some of the countries like Nui or
Right, right.
in Cameroon, they're a little bit more loose about that. And I know there's even a marijuana leaf on one of the latest coins. You've seen that, cannabis coin. I think it was
Yep.
Cameroon.
Uh-huh.
It was Chad. The country Chad issued that one. And so some countries are a little bit more loose about their laws regarding putting things that are a little bit more edgy on their coins, and getting that done is sometimes a roadblock. But what we're doing right now is, first you get the design, you kind of go back and forth about, do you want that design to be put on, and you have to fine tune it and get it to a really acceptable format, to get it to fit obviously into a coin shape. Or, as you know, now there's a lot of shaped coins that are in different shapes, like the chibis or whatever.
So
And I
I'm
know,
trying to break out of a capsule right now to kind of give an example of what you're talking about as far as a weapon and being able to show it or being able to
Oh,
use
right,
it.
right.
And you actually said, I think this is Cameroon. Yeah. So, this one here, it's a
The
2-ounce
brass
set of
knuckle.
brass knuckles,
Yeah.
but they couldn't leave the holes in the center open because just to even though it is so small, it could still be considered a weapon, right? If a kid were to get their fingers in there or whatever, just to resemble a set of brass knuckles, it's illegal in some countries to even
sure.
have this, even
But
if it was a keychain of sorts,
even
but
doing right now,
kind of what you're touching on.
we're trying to actually kind of hide the gun itself and make it like, part of the gun itself, not the entire gun. Because, as you know, posting all these different guns on Facebook and Instagram, and even talking about it or writing about it, it immediately gets flagged and taken down by the bots. And so that's a big thing, is the marketing. You have to think about, how are you going to sell this to everyone uh, on Facebook and Instagram and social media and YouTube, without those guys getting pissed off at what you're selling. And so
Yeah.
that's in our mind when we're making these coins. We have to think about who's buying it and where we're selling it and that type of thing. So, most of the coins that have like the gangster theme on it, like the one that was made by Nui, is pretty subtle. You don't see, huge guns across the front of the coin, uh,
Right.
and you can't make it too thing with the brass knuckles, where it actually becomes a weapon.
Yeah.
But as we were talking about earlier, I think one of our friends just got into trouble on YouTube for posting a gun on his auction, I believe, right?
Right. Yeah, his whole auction got taken down.
Yeah.
Which is an unfortunate thing.
Mhm.
We've got our account flagged and shut down temporarily on Facebook because of that, and that's always an unfortunate circumstance. But
Yeah.
Now, the process of making these coins, just to get back to that, it's a pretty straightforward process. Once you get the design, you take it to the mint, and they have to approve it, and they go through the design. And if it's really something that resonates with the markets, they'll approve the design, and they will decide what kind of size you want on it. If it's going to be a 1 ounce, a 2 ounce, a 5 ounce, a 10 ounce, and then the issuing authority is going to monetize that size into a dollar amount as well. As you know, like the $1 size is usually for 1 ounce coins, and then you go into the larger denominations, like 10 or 20 or 100 will be the kilo size. And
Right.
we've personally never made anything bigger than a 1 ounce or a 2 ounce coin for government issue purposes. And but that is something that we look forward to doing a big one of these days. The bigger the coin, the bigger coins are always fun, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
No
man.
doubt. No
I
doubt.
love the big ones. This isn't a coin, but I always flash it. That's the
Have you
Yeah.
beauty.
I've got this little mini thing.
have you guys had a chance to check out the katana yet? The katana sword.
Oh
No.
yeah, yeah. I've seen it. I don't have it though.
Yeah. I didn't get
It
that
looks
one. I
real
got the
pretty.
other one,
That's a pretty
the,
cool
the St. Michael's, and then there's another one after the St. Michael's.
the Gabriel
But
coming.
Yeah,
yeah, the Gabriel. But yeah, the katana
very cool.
I've seen pictures. That's all.
So awesome that all these coins are coming out that are in the shape of ancient weapons.
Yeah,
Who
different
Yeah.
things,
would have thought that was going to be like a thing, right? Like years ago, that we would have weapon coins
Well, there
be
was no technology for that. Like, they couldn't make that fine detailed 3D
sure.
coin, but now it's possible. That's
And
awesome.
they are going bigger with it. Like we just put out a 5 ounce Cameroon coin just last week. That's a revolver. That's a 38 special
Yeah.
replica.
Mm, mhm.
That one I literally listed it at the end of the night, like 1 or 2 a.m. I had put it up. I was just like, yeah, why not put it up in the middle of the night? And by the time I woke up in the morning, I was already sold out of them. Like 30 coins had already sold.
That's
Uh,
nuts, man.
and the weapon coins are just the hottest thing right now in the
Yeah,
market. People love
yeah.
them. So
So, let's say we've got a listener or viewer who's got a design in hand.
sure.
What's the best company, or what are some of the companies that they could reach out to get the production process started?
So there's a lot of Chinese companies right now that are doing custom work, and they're typically the ones that you want to connect with because the production there, not only is it the most sophisticated and the most state of the art, but you can also reach out to them to do the entire design process. And so we
Mm,
work with a few Chinese distributors. LPM is one of them that we do work with
Okay.
right now. And as you know, LPM is a big distributor and retailer of coins in Asia, but they also do a lot of their own custom designs and develop coins for smaller distribution, like myself. And of course, Germania is another one that does the new bars that you see coming out. Everyone seems to be releasing those colorized UV printed cast bars, and that seems
Yep.
to be another new technology. Astrament has released their own version of the Germania bars.
mm.
Korean Mint today, Korea has released the Lunar Beast bar, and so a lot of them are getting all outsourced by Germania, and Germania is taking their design and colorizing it on a bar and making it into. I have yet to see it made into an actual coin as far as I guess
Sure.
shoot bar yet, but I'm sure that'll be the next process, right? Is to get one of those made into a Nui coin or something like that. I see that
Heck
coming
yeah.
next. But yeah, there's a lot of companies out there. Most of them are going to be in Europe, like Germania. You've got LPM in Asia, and then there's definitely some Americans that can get it done, like Scottsdale Mint, but they require a huge mintage. You know, if you're going to
10,000 or something?
and so yeah, like SD Bullion, they've taken a lot of the Scottsdale designs, and they're like, "Oh, we'll buy the entire 10,000 mintage,"
Yeah.
and they made it into their Liberia coins. So you have to be a very big distributor to get those large mintage bullion coins made. And that was the other thing I was going to talk about is that when you're deciding to make a custom piece, you have the choice of either bullion, which is going to be a larger mintage, like 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. They don't typically make lower than 1,000 for a bullion mintage, and the cost per unit is obviously going to be a lot less on those. You're going to look,
Mhm.
your spot range is going to be about $5 to $10 over spot on a custom project from one of those mints to get that done in bullion. Or if you're going, the higher the mintage is going to be a smaller premium.
Hmm.
10,000 or 50,000, then you're going to be at like 250 to $5 over or something like that. And so the price goes down the more that you make on that type of thing. But we've always chosen to do either a smaller mintage collectible, which would be, I think I lost you guys there. Hold on.
You're still there. You went black. There
There I
you
am.
are.
So you can either do a bullion issue, which is going to be a large mintage, or you can do a collectible issue. And we've only so far done collectibles because you can make a 250 minimum collectible issue into a coin and get it monetized and have Nui or Cameroon or Chad, one of those countries, monetize it, and it's relatively inexpensive. We're going to be selling ours probably in the 75 to 100 range or something like that whenever we bring out our release. And so the cost over spot, yes, it is a lot higher to do a collectible, but it is going to be something that does hold its value because there's less mintage, right? So you're going to have a 250 mintage collectible that sells out in that 75 to 100 range, and eventually it becomes a collectible on eBay once it sells out at 125, 150, 200 hopefully, and that's that.
Mhm.
You sell out those lower mintage collectibles very quickly, quicker than the bullion. The bullion is going to take forever to sell, right?
Yeah,
Right,
right.
right.
It's going to be a long sellout. Not that it's not possible. A lot of those coins made by Atmex and LPM, when they did those custom releases, those early releases that were 5 to 10,000 mintage, they did sell out eventually. But it's a long process, months versus days, right, or weeks.
Mhm.
Sure.
So
Sure.
it pushes me away from doing, or most people away, with a smaller budget from doing a bullion issue. Um, and if you were going to do bullion, you might as well just do a private issue, in my opinion. You do like a rounder bar or metal, if because the margins are going to be so low anyway. So you might as well do like a 500 mintage uh, bar or round instead of putting an issuing authority on it where you have to get the approval and all that. So that's really the process is finding the design, taking it to the mints, and then they make the production of it, and then you have to market it, and that's my job is the marketing behind that. That's my
So
favorite part is just selling it, right?
there's the other side of you mentioned making Boolean rounds, you mentioned turning it into a collectible coin. But there's the other side, the aftermarket design that like an overlay,
Yes.
ennobling or enameling or something like that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So the main companies that do the enameling and ennobling, as you know, Germany is a big one. But there are a few other European outfits that do the colorization. And some of the mints in Asia actually do the colorization with the production of the round as well. So they'll produce the coin and then they'll get the mintage, half of the mintage colorized as well. But what we've usually taken is a coin that's already made, like American Silver Eagle or a Libertad.
Libertad, yeah.
The most popular ones are Libertads now because people love the Libertad. And as I've shown in here in a past episode, we show Germania the design, and then we give them some ideas. What are we going to add to this Libertad angel figure? Are we going to make her flying in the air? Are we going to put her underwater? Are we going to add a mermaid fin? Um, all these different things you can colorize and add to the coins to make them a little bit more unique. And so that process is usually a couple week process to get the design made. And once you agree on a design, you have to get the packaging made uh, to suit the coin. And so that's another design as well. And then the production itself is about a month long process. But to make a coin colorize is really inexpensive in comparison to making a complete minting issue where you have to get,
Yeah, complete mint from
we have to get the
paper to distribution.
yeah, you have to get the tooling done, and you have to create you know all that
Dies.
die costs and all those things. It's just very expensive compared to ennobling or colorizing a coin. So that's why when you start off doing this, the first thing most guys do is they colorize coins, and then they jump into making a custom piece from scratch after they've done some colorization projects. And uh, it's fun though. I mean, we're still doing colorization projects to this day, and we love it. It's a good money maker, and it's something that's very easy to do, and you can pump them out pretty quickly. It takes about a month to make. So
So when you get the Libertads made, do you send them the mintage or do they sequester it on their own?
yeah, so you start off with the bare bullion and how much you're going to send to them, or if they already have, like Germany already has their own stock of those items, like American Silver Eagles,
Gotcha.
they might have 500 to 1,000 in stock, or they might have only like 300 in stock left. And so we kind of look at what they have in stock first, and
Sure.
because shipping them to Europe is a lot more expensive too. So you have to think about that transport cost in there. That's adding to your overall cost as well, because it costs about $2 to $3 a coin to get it from here to Europe, and then
Oh,
you have to add the ennobling cost, which is another cost on it, the packaging cost. Um, but if they already have the coins in stock, you decide on a mintage figure. Let's say 250 is the minimum usually that we do, 199 to 250. And I think the next ones we have coming out are, because they're selling out so quickly at the 199 range, that we decided to go with 333 for the next 3 projects that we're doing. But
Very nice.
so they didn't have any Libertads in stock that last time, and we did have to get them bought in the United States and ship them to Germania. And so that is a longer process too. To ship it there is like a 2 week to a month process, and then getting it done actual production is another month. So the ones we're making have taken a little longer to get made because we had to sell them the Bullion itself from the United States because they were out of Libertads at the time. So, but the mintage is, pretty, it seems to be something that's pretty easy to figure out now. We don't want to make it too high and make it too common, where there's
Right.
5,000 colorized coins out there of the same kind, and then it doesn't sell out. So we like it to be a little bit smaller. 100, 200, 300 at the max is an ideal mintage for a colorization project.
Right on. And you've you mentioned the packaging, and I've seen an array of packaging, everything from like just a little capsule, a flip, to a fancy box, to really ornate packaging that is kind of excessive and unnecessary. But what's that process there? Who designs that? Who approves it?
So the packaging itself, a lot of the boxes are from China, from Asia. You can get really fancy boxes made with the name of the coin and that kind of thing put on there. And that's usually for the higher end projects like the 2 ounce or 5 ounce or 10 ounce or kilos. But most 1 ounce coins tend to go in either quadrum capsule sleeves, that are like a square.
A little square and a cardboard cover.
Yeah, and a little cardboard sleeve to go on. That's popular for a nobling project, and Germania has those quadrum capsules in stock, and then they also do the sleeve to put on. But they have their own department that actually makes like all types of packaging for a lot of these mints.
Yes.
So I feel like those sleeves and those really cool the 1 ounce and the 2 ounce proofs or whatever, the little booklets. Have one behind you or whatever to show, but those are made in house and they have their own.
I don't have one. I have one upstairs. I don't have. I mean, I have these.
What about the fancy capsules like these ones?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's a little sleeve.
It's the one that have that 2 ounce packaging. So they do a lot of that. And obviously all the people that are making those 2 ounce bars are all getting similar packaging to that, where it's like a little window box that opens and a little.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I talk about it all the time. As far as packaging goes, it's really nice, and not that it does mean something to some people, but it's like a little magnetic flip right here, and then it's got their logo, and all the other mints that are using them will have their logo, and then you open up, and then there it is, little COA, and then the bar.
Call that a minimalistic.
Yeah, and they've gotten an award, the Germania Mint, and not that they've gotten awards for their packaging for being eco-friendly.
Right. And I think that's important too. Like you don't want to have just a bunch of wasted packaging that ends up in a seal's mouth in the ocean.
Yeah, right. Right.
There's a lot of things that could happen with this packaging, but in general, I think, I had an argument today with some guy about it, and he was saying the UK Mint just wastes packaging. They make gigantic packages for their coins. I don't know if that's true or not, but I have seen some, I think, Millennium Falcon or Han Solo coins that are 5 ounce, and the coin might be like this big, but the packaging is like this.
Sure, yeah, extra huge. Yep.
And just like that extra packaging is a little wasteful, I think, in some areas. That and then of course when you want to actually ship it and pack it, it's just like too much. You got to get a medium box out, a large box out.
Yeah.
If it exceeds the standard packaging that you're using on a daily basis, that's kind of an annoyance for
it's a bit much.
Yeah, it's excessive. I mean, I've got a box of boxes, like from like the packaging boxes, because I don't keep all that junk in my safe. I just keep the coin. So I pull it out with the capsule and everything and
Sure.
kind of stack them up and everything, throw them in there. But yeah, it's a massive box full of just stuff and it's
Right.
unnecessary. I mean,
And
even from
that's
the US Mint.
like
Right.
these. So when I get them, they send them in these boxes, and I like he's saying I have a box, but I do keep these in them just so the
That's
packaging itself doesn't get dented up. But I have stacks of these things in a box in the bottom of the safe. It's
so I
nuts.
see Lithuania Mint also in Europe using that style of recycled
Yeah,
cardboard pack. Seems to be
and
like
it's probably coming from germanium.
it's a very yeah, it's got to be. It's a very European thing. I don't think it's
Yeah,
come here yet because I've yet to see any mints use that cardboard packaging here, like Scottsdale or whatever,
yeah,
or
no.
it seems to still be using non-eco-friendly packaging here. So maybe we'll get to that level, or we care a little bit more about our packaging Earth.
Yeah, right. Good
So,
luck.
Sean, fortunate for you, but unfortunate for everybody else that most of us are not as big a seller as you. So, we don't have the avenues for distribution. If
Yeah,
I was a person who just got a run of, let's say, 500 coins
yeah.
minted and I wanted to offload them, what would you recommend to them to be the most efficient and cost effective manner to do that?
You're talking about like doing a custom project and distributing it, right? To get rid of them once you
Yeah.
get
To
to
get rid of them.
Now
Yeah,
you
to
have
sell
it
them.
made.
right.
Now
Yep,
you've
it's
got it
done.
made. What are you gonna do with it
How do I
all?
dump them?
So once you have it made, there's a lot of different avenues where you could sell it on different platforms and so on and so forth. Our focus has always been social media on Facebook and Instagram, but we've started doing email distribution lists, and that seems to be like the most effective. That's really how the coin world works outside of the United States. It's all email based.
All emails.
You'll see, Germania Mint, and you'll see Perth Mint, and all the big distributors, CIT or whatever. Every day, my email box is full of the newest offers that come in from all these mints, and you see like exactly what they're selling for each coin, and the big mints mostly have their offers in categories for time of the year. They do a seasonal offer for every season, or they have MDM or CIT or Mint 21. They'll put out their January offers or their spring offers, and they usually coincide it with the shows. And so that's really uh, the most effective ways to getting a nice email platform made where you want to market it out to your customers. And you put a picture of the coin, you put how much you want to put it for sale. And our strategy right now has always been to put, especially for a custom project, is to put a minimum advertised pricing where you don't want the price to be sold too low, uh, because you still want to maintain the overall retail price of that
Mhm.
for the retail consumer. But then when we sell it to dealers, we make sure that the dealer makes a little bit of money. When the dealer is selling it to their customers, we make sure that we make a little bit of money as well. Which is, our margins are like 5% for bullion or 10% for collectibles or something like that. And
Mhm.
the consumer marks it, or sorry, that dealer marks it up to the retail market at the same format, about 5 to 10% markup,
Mhm.
depending on bullion or collectibles. And so that's really, it's a little chain there, where you have the big men on top, or if you're making a custom project, you are the mint itself. And so you're going to do a custom project, you're going to put it on the email, and you're going to sell it to a distributor like myself. And there's a lot of guys, there's AppMex does takes in projects as well, or they'll put it on their websites, and or eBay or whatever, and they take in projects from all these mints as well. Um, to get them to approve it is the tough part, because
Mm.
the bigger the company, the more strings you have to pull to get approval from that company to sell on the marketplace. And Amex has some very strict standards, so it's tougher to sell coins to them because they have to really like it and they have to get approval. But a guy like me, I put out like 5 to 10 offers a day of people's custom projects, or it could be a larger men's project. And once the email goes out, it goes out to 50 to 100 different dealers. And if it's a really popular product, it could sell out in the same day, or sometimes it takes a few days to sell. But that's the best way to liquidate is to email blast all the biggest dealers that and those dealers are going to sell it to their customer bases, and it's a pre-sale process. So you're selling it
Sure.
few weeks before the item is in hand. And once the item gets in hand, that's where the secondary markets
Sometimes
start.
months.
It could be months. Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
months. As we see Germania and Korea, a lot of those items end up months later in people's hands because of production delays. But the ideal thing is to have maybe a 2 week to 1 month window. I think is a good pre-sale to keep the consumer happy and to keep the secondary market flowing. And once it's sold out to that in that pre-sale period, if it does sell out very quickly, then the secondary market takes it over and puts it on eBay, and then the price could be flying at that point.
Yep.
And you see those large comps flying in, and then you have a successful custom project where you won at the end, and everybody wins too. It's not just yourself. You made some money, the distributor made some money that's selling it, and then of course the smaller customers at the end, they put it on eBay and they still made a margin as well, which they could have made the most margin at the very end.
Sure.
The guy that's eBaying it at the end, he
That's
could
right.
500 to $1,000 at the end, when only the distributor at the start only made his 5 or 10% margin
Right.
and
Right.
just it, so
Right on.
So maybe even realistically, before the design process even starts, you should almost have someone in mind that's going to help you move the stuff, right?
definitely. I think, that's half the battle is finding.
Until you get yourself, say, established to some point to where you can,
Stand on
market
your
the
own.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, stand on your own, make your Instagram posts, make your Facebook posts,
Sure.
and start to promote it on your own. So you'd almost need to have a few people anyways to help with that process before you decided to jump
Right.
in and mint 500 to 1,000 coins or rounds and say, okay, now what?
I've seen some of these guys, try to distribute their own projects, and that's where they hit walls. I know that even the guy that you had on a few weeks ago, or whatever, Bunker Bullion,
Yeah.
he's been move his custom project for a long time, and it was one of the first ones he had ever done. And I know that it was a tough process getting him to distribute it to a bunch of people in the end. That's a challenging process right there, is to get all those people on board when you don't have a huge distribution selling outlet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, a lot of guys come to me and they're like, just help me move this product because I don't have the same
The
clientele.
means to, right?
The reach. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reach is important. And, I'm not even the biggest reach. I outsource my stuff sometimes to in an even bigger window right there. The distributors above me that have, 500 to 1,000 people on their email list. And so that's the game right there, is to keep the spread going to as many heads as possible, and hopefully at the end of the day, everybody makes a little bit of money, and it's reached the end consumer where they're winning at the end as well. So
It's
Right
good
on.
stuff.
So in theory, if I had a project made and I had the items in hand or on the way, I could reach out to you and you could help me distribute.
yes,
Excellent.
I could help you move pretty much any product you want me to. I'm looking for
Make
products.
sure you get me one so you show it off, Husky, if you're making something.
No, I'm not making anything. But if I did. So
Yeah,
your
If I were.
information is going to be in the description section below so people can
As
reach out to
always.
you.
As
Mhm.
always.
Very
I'm
cool.
I don't know.
Pauly,
Has anybody ever reached out to you from the show?
I've had a
They
few guys
have. Good. Good.
have reached out to me.
People helping people. I like it.
I feel like I'm at that level where like I don't even need any more people to reach out to me. Like I'm already,
you're
Oh,
too
shit.
busy.
Okay, don't reach out to Sean then.
but
Teasing.
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I can never have more business. I'm always appreciative of people coming in and talking to me and asking questions. But yeah, you do get to that level sometimes where you're just like, I'm comfortable with where I am, and I just want a little bit more family time at the end of the day too.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
I like to spend time with my family and the free moments that I have, and so I'm glad that we
In the
get it.
barber shop.
And yeah, go to the barbershop.
Fresh. Somebody had to say it. If they're not thinking it, I had to say it. He's looking fresh as always, folks.
He did his hair for us today. Look at that, man.
Hell yeah.
Paul, you got anything else?
No, it's a pleasure as always, Sean. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you,
man.
brother. We'll bring you on
Husky,
real
you
soon.
good? You
I'm
good,
man? I'm
you
good.
sure? All right,
Yeah, man.
All right, folks. Next week,
Peace.
episode 41.